Eternia is not easily conquered. I've been set back too many times in my efforts to overrun it. Tell me about...
Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike. Today is that day Eternia came in. We are going to do an unboxing. We're going to take it out of there and see how it was packaged and all that good stuff. We're going to get into assembly. We're going to look at the features. We're going to talk about how it stacks up versus some of the vintage parts. I have some vintage parts, and we're going to do all of the monorail things at the same exact time. We're going to talk about this and more coming up. It does work with Masterverse, but people that complain about the decals, the stickers, they were a pain to put on, and so there's a lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to get into this, and hopefully we do it quickly. Coming up. All right, here's the box. This is the outer box, and you're going to have the inner box. A lot of people had a lot of damage. I got to say that I had a bit of a minimal damage. Got a little bit more on the back side here. We'll see how it does when it comes out, but size comparison-wise, let's back this thing up just a bit. It is that much bigger than the Snake Mountain, and it looks like thick-wise, it's like almost 3 times as thick as the Snake Mountain. So it's a big, big boy, big play set. Of course, I have prepared for this. On the inside, they at least did put the corner protectors in to protect the box. So I'm fairly confident that this thing's going to come out and be in really good condition. Here it is right outside of the box. Just pull it out. I did a little maneuver where I cut open one side and then I flipped it over and poured it out. And it turns out the box was in upside down from the writing on the brown box. Anyway, looks phenomenal. This looks fantastic. I don't have any serious damage to it, but it does feel like this whole top part is smushed down a bit, so you see kind of like a rim right here. So I'm not one that's got a lot of damage. The back has a little bit. Here's the back of it, and there is one kind of like really rough gash in the brown box. Let's show this here, and it's created like a little gash right here. So not really too bad, not the end of the world, and the artwork on the front all looks good, so I can live with that, and of course I'm going to keep it preserved forever now. But there's the box. Opening the box, I'm cutting the tape, but this is the top side, which kind of shows everything, all the features and stuff. Fun we're going to be getting into. Going right inside here, we have this giant poster, which I think was a pleasant surprise nobody knew about. I know I didn't know about it, and it's kind of sparkly. That's kind of cool. It just shows Eternia. Good looking artwork overall. Set that aside. Oh, over here. Then we have some sticker sheets, instructions, and stuff like that. So definitely got to get into that. It's going to take quite a bit of time. I've heard some horror stories about sticker sheets, so I have my own plan for this. Removing this cardboard piece here, which is nice. They've included that to keep it all safe. It is broken down into all these different separate boxes. So this is something pretty cool. And we're going to see that we have the center tower. We have the Grayskull Tower, the Snake Tower. We have this box here, and then we have all these other little pieces that are inside. So we're going to get into opening each one, getting into this, and getting started on it. The center tower, and then getting access to this. This is going to be all of the stuff that you can put on the monorail, tram, and what and stuff like that. Here is the little bitty moat monster. Kind of cool. We'll take a look at him in here in a bit. Then this is an empty box to just kind of make up space so things aren't bouncing around. Here are another empty box, make up space. Then this is going to be all the accessories and stuff, and we're going to get into opening each one. They're each taped, 2 pieces of tape on each side, then you can lift it all up. See what's going on in there. It's packed in like this, so there's the main part of the center tower, the top, and then a few other things. You got the mechanism already assembled. You'll just have to plug the arms in and all this stuff. So we're going to put stickers and all this. Let's get all this out of the box. Here's everything that was inside of the center tower's box. It's still really cool. Looks pretty good. A lot of assembly that's going to happen with this, but it's not really going to be too bad. But this is when you start to understand how big this thing's going to be. The center tower, the base of it is huge. It's literally way bigger. The base of this is way bigger than any of the other places they put out in Origin so far. All right, there is the Snake Tower, and I was kind of surprised to find that this stuff here is just floating loose inside of it. That was a little strange to see these parts here floating loose inside of it. And then getting over here, there's the other tower. And it's already pretty much pre-assembled. You just got to plug those pieces in. And then there's the rest of this down here, which is the track and parts and pieces, flags and stuff. Pretty cool. So lastly, I made this table to fit exactly the dimensions. I might have to pull the table out just a little bit though. This is just a desk that I was using, and then I made the part on top to fit. But it doesn't matter. I can pull it out 6 inches if I have to or whatever, but I'm sure it'll fit. I'm going to have to pull all this off, build it, put it all back on. I want to showcase I do have some original Eternia parts that I've sourced over the past year. Got them as cheap as I could, but I wanted to do a few things. Wanted to see if I can get 3 of these things going on the rail at the same time. Wanted to do some comparisons to the original gun. I wanted to get components that I could still utilize with this. They could be used with both sets, but I'm believing that 100% there is no interchangeability with these pieces. I think it's 100% all new molds. The only interchangeability you'd have is figures would work in both, and stuff like this that you can put on there, stuff that connects to the other power module. I hope the power module still works with the new rails. We're going to go ahead and start with assembly. We've got stickers and decals on this, and I'm going to just start with this tower. We'll take a look at each tower as we go. The big one, the center tower, is the most work, but you kind of put this one on here until it clicks. There's the click, and everything should be good with that. And then we're going to install this one here first into the front, and then the rest of them just all go on. They're all the same. So that's the only one that's different. And go all the way around. I'm not sure how much of this is going to be on the camera here, because it is quite a big tower. Then we're just going to kind of move it over to the side out of the way. But here it is with assembly. Assembly on this one is quite simple, very easy. And with that, we're going to look at a couple of the features it has. First feature it has is this cage where I'm going to put this guy here. And turns out I'm going to take a tumble. Then you can open this up to get them out. That works pretty well. The back of it, we have this door, that trap door that kind of opens and closes. And you can put this on the track. We'll see this later. It'll be a feature that we utilize later. And then we have gotten bigger steps, so you can actually put a figure on the steps, sort of a lot better than you used to, but it might run into some tram issues. We'll see about that coming up. Next tower assembly is the snake tower. Now, all you do is put that snake head on the front, like that, and slide it in place and snap it in place. I already just did that, just kind of making sure I had the right position and it all worked. Then you go around and you plug all these in. So these should all be the same. You just plug all of them in, and they'll be height adjusted based on where they're plugged in to accommodate the track. While you're back here, you come down here and you would plug this in to here. And this is what's used to control it. And then one more of these. Plug them in all the way, or they'll fall out. That's important for it to not fall out, I'm sure. And then we can get up here on this guy here and see what it looks like with the... Move his head around, like so. Yep, that's what the tower does. And of course it's going to be in there at an angle like this. Looks kind of cool. Now getting into building the main tower, the first thing you're supposed to do is slide this bad boy in until it snaps into place. And mine's not really snapping. There it goes. That kind of snapped into place. And I'm going a little bit out of order with this, but you gotta push these arms in here and connect them. That popped in. That one popped in. Are we seeing all that? And they do the grabbing mechanism. All that good stuff. Then, of course, we put the face on there. Now, you're going to be doing some screwing on this from behind. Some screwing from behind. That's what is going to happen. And then I'm going to put this on here. Covers up that little sticker that we have. Then we're going to flip this guy around 180. This starts to get really involved. So what's going to happen here is that we are going to put screws in here, 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 and then we're going to screw in 1, 2, 3 for the face. Then we're going to start sliding in some of these other panels and making that happen. Then we're going to move up here, and up here we've got to put in the computer screen, which I don't think it's really going to get in the way of any screwing or anything. I'm not going to show every aspect of, that's upside down. I'm not going to show every aspect of the assembly of this, but just kind of give you the idea of what's going on. Then you slide this into place, and you do screw, 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 even more screwing, and then you're going to end up going all the way up here to the top, and then putting that platform in, and we'll get back. I'm going to go and do all that, and we'll get back. All right, so we got these panels in place. Let's see if we need a little bit more light on this situation. I'm not sure if it was too dark or whatever, and some other ones, but we've got tower sort of starting to get built here. A couple of things we're going to do. First of all, we do have to plug this in up top there. That is the weapons rack. I actually had it backwards. You turned it the other way, but that's the weapons rack. Plug this little Horde Trooper looking thing in right here, which is kind of double as, I guess I didn't have this pushed in all the way. It kind of doubles as, there we go, moving the seat, and the seat will double as moving this guy around, which is kind of cool. Wish his arms moved. That would have been cool too. But yeah, there's that part. So then we have the elevator where you're going to kind of like put it into here and then connect it all the way to the top. It's got little connections here, here, and here. Let's make sure I'm doing all this right. I wonder if this is how easy this would be to take apart. I mean, I would imagine you'd have to still be able to take it apart if you're going to move it, but that gives it a little bit of stability up and down all of this. It's incredibly hard to capture all of this in frame in one shot, but so far that's pretty much everything. I think we still need to, of course, put the actual chair of the elevator on. Here it is. It's just going to snap into place. It should snap into place. Pretty easy, and it works. And then with this, I kind of forgot all about these chains. These are the chains that go to the Viper Tower. They're different sizes chains, and just put it on the Viper Tower based on the size of the chain and the corresponding spots. All right, so here is the tower pretty much set up, ready to go. Now I'm going to be turning this around and leaving it set up, turned around, which I could always just turn it back around, but once I get it in place and the track on it and everything, it's going to be facing the opposite direction. So this is what you see on the inside. I want to show a couple of things that are different on this one than... First thing I want to point out is that this weapon rack, which now it's a bunch of junk in front of it, but you can't really see it. But the weapon rack is way different. This is the vintage weapon rack, and it is made of this kind of gold plastic, and it has some wood grain to it and stuff. So I'm going to kind of leave this up here as an homage to the vintage one, and then I'm also not sure how I'm going to do that, but my Ninja, vintage Ninja, is using a vintage Eternia one. It's cheaper to get the Eternia version than the Ninja. So I'm going to show you that it's more like a yellowish gold than a gold. Maybe the vintage ones are bronze and this is gold. I don't know, but it's a much different color, way different color. And that was what I started noticing in other people's videos. It doesn't really look bad, but I just got used to seeing this color for the vintage stuff. And so that's a big difference and a big change. We're getting a lot closer to getting this done. We're about to put the tracks on, but I had a question. If I took this vintage piece, would it accept the track? And I was curious about that. And it turns out that, yes, indeed, it accepts the track. So, yeah, I didn't think it would, because everything else is completely different. But the track is accepted on this. That is awesome. I'm going to set this up in Figure 8, and we'll come right back. All right, now we got Eternia all set up. You might not see it, but we have the Castle Tower right here, and then Castle Grayskull is actually right behind my Ghostbusters house there. Then here is the Eternia, then we have the Viper Tower, and then right behind it is Snake Mountain. It's not exactly how I intended to set it up. I wanted to set it up a little bit different than this, and I'm going to work with it a little bit more over probably the next couple of weeks. But for now, just showing the features and what all it does, and just kind of showing all that, it's not really that big of a deal. Getting up here, I did attach the flags. Not sure if that's exactly how it's supposed to be, but that's how we did it. I put the ladder on there. Now, let's get into the first feature. So when you pull this down, it kind of has an ejection thing. You can throw them, I guess. That's what it does. Getting in here, there's no moat monster because you get the moat monster, and so there's no etched in moat monster anymore. So that's one difference between the vintage, and you do have the kind of sea ray looking thing in there, which is probably really hard to get when it comes to the vintage one. And then over here, we're going to use Skeletor a lot. There's a foot peg here so you can stand, and then we're going to move the orb and snatch him up. He got snatched. And you can close the mouth too if you want. It just latches in and out. Then we're going to move up here And we're going to see the whole thing in its entirety and what it does. Now, I'm going to show the vintage and the modern versions as they go, and we're going to see how that works. But I want to say a couple of things. The power modules themselves actually work with the original. And so it's all swappable. So you can use all of the parts for this. You can use the new module. Is that the new module? The new module along with an old vintage version, one of these, and vice versa. It should be working just fine. I checked that already. Now this one does clip in place and hold it solid. That doesn't really clip in place, so they could fall. We're going to see how this works, and we're going to get this started and see if it drops the figure. The new one is much quieter than the vintage one. There it goes with the full revolution. Let's get to the next one. So I need to show something about this power module here. And this is the vintage one. This is the modern one. They are shaped slightly different. This one's kind of taller. The battery cover slides off. This battery cover is actually on the side here. It's kind of screwed in like that versus the way they did it. And with that, this comes with this gun on the back here, and it plugs in. It's got a spot here to plug in, but they included that same gun, but no place to plug it in. So I don't really understand that. It goes with this. Maybe they just didn't really understand that this was a part that goes to it, but it's supposed to plug into this. I don't see a place for it to plug in. I don't understand, and it doesn't show in the instructions. Maybe I missed it in the instructions, but I don't understand why you can't plug that into the module like you originally did. And also, this one has kind of like a gray kind of a rubber piece to it. This one here has a black rubber piece to it. And I got my power modules pretty cheap. They were all like not working, and I just took them apart and got them working. A little bit of electronics back in Votech days. And anyhow, let's get into looking at the trams. Here we go, looking at the trams side by side, and I gotta say that the new one is better for a lot of reasons. I don't like the way the window is. I can't seem to get it to form right and clip in. It likes to fall off. Plus this opens up on a hinge. This is just clip in, which I don't want to unclip it. Here, let me show you that. I'll show you what I'm talking about. It's ridiculous trying to get this stupid windshield to clip in. Oh, I got it clipped in on both of them right now, luckily. But getting this to clip in on the vintage one's hard. That is very smooth and easy. It really does work. It still has the same kind of features, like you can open the back up like this. You still have really similar type of stickers and decals to it. Over here on this one, opens up. You got the same, pretty much same stickers and decals to what's going on. But this one's a little shorter or sleeker. I like this one so much more. And I hope nothing gets hung up. I did a couple of test runs, but I moved it a little bit since then. But let's see what this looks like with trams on it. All right, let's see these trams in action. It's a lot of noise here. I do want to point out that I really do think that the vintage one moves faster than the modern one. They all have the same, more or less the same batteries in them. I'm seeing where they can sort of collide as they're going through, but kind of fun. We're going to see triple action on the glider piece too. Then we're going to see some other stuff going on. Let's get this fixed. Getting into the gliders, there's the original one. Let's see, the original one is the single barrel. This is a double barrel. It's a little bit darker color on the new one. New one on the right, original on the left. They look very close, really hard to tell, but still gonna be fun. We're gonna get a minute. We're gonna see how this works. All right, yeah, it's noisy. This one sort of looks like their feet kind of hit the tracks as they go by. They hit stuff as they go by. This is kind of strange, but a whole lot of fun. They're chasing each other, trying to see who wins the race. Yeah, a lot of fun here, but I think it'd be more fun if you have one of each going. And that's how it looks. One of each going around Eternia. 6 flags, well, 3 flags over Eternia. A lot of fun, pretty cool. I'm glad it all works and all the hang-ups are worked out of it. That's going to be good. But now I got to work on getting a better display together and including everything in this display. Here's pretty much the last feature, and it is the big red cannon, which comes with this piece here. Now you can slide it up, down, all around, all that good stuff, but it does have firing projectiles, which the original one does not. Now I do have the original over here for comparison, and as you can see, it looks almost exactly the same. Now the sticker is a lot shorter because of the fact that it has to have a button for the projectile, which this one does not have a projectile, but everything else still feels pretty much the same when it comes to this. And I don't know at all why there's a gray one. I've never seen a gray one until I saw one and bought it, and so I was like, cool, I got a gray one. Don't know why it's gray, but big red cannon, and that could go up top. The other thing is, if you wanted to use the Blaster Hawk, you could put it into this one, but it won't. Blaster Hawk won't fit into that if you want to put Blaster Hawk up top. But I'm just going to work with cannon up top and have these other ones down below. Now, every aspect of this playset does work with Classics and Masterverse, but some of it you have to work a little bit harder to make it happen, and that's just the thing that you have to do. I've got a Masterverse figure way up top there. Fits in every level. I just not going to turn this thing around and show it because it's already put together and assembled, but Masterverse fits. They made sure it does, but sometimes it looks like it's a little bit cramped. As you can see right here, his head's kind of pushing up to the top of that. But you can put an entire Classics and Masterverse collection around this, and that's a thing that you can do if you want to. Just going to have to understand that it's going to feel a little bit cramped in some areas. So this is my look at the Eternia. I've got a lot more work to do with it to figure out exactly how I'm going to have this display set up. It's probably going to take weeks till I have it the way I truly want it. Now, I had a year to have this area set up and have everything with it that I expected, but the problem is having everything set up and being able to run the tram and all that stuff in the monorail without bumping into things. And I knew it'd be an issue, but it's one of those issues you can't resolve till you have it in hand. You just can guess, but you can't resolve till you have it in hand. But it's got a lot of features. It's a lot of fun. Is this better than the vintage one? And I say yes. And here's why it's better than the vintage one. Because this one has a much brighter blue to it, so the colors are brighter. Every one of the vintage ones I see look kind of like a dingy dull blue on this tower here. Also, the tracks are going to be a lot better. They hold a lot better. I do see them flexing in some points where you're going over some areas of it, and it does sort of flex. I don't like that. I like the updated action in the Viper Tower, where you can actually do some stuff with that. That's pretty cool. And then I also like the fact that it's a little bit bigger. Although being a little bit bigger is causing me some display issues, it's still really cool that it's as big as it is, and they've actually made this thing, so it's really awesome. Anyway, I do like this one better than the vintage, and I've been looking at vintage. I've almost pulled the trigger like 4 times. But what do you guys think about the Eternia? Have y'all picked this up? Are you guys gonna go ahead and get one? There's like a million of them on, well, not a million, but you know, at least 100 on eBay right now. So if you want to go snag one of those up, secondary market is a little bit higher, well, double the original cost, but I'm not sure if they'll get cheaper down the road or they'll go up, but generally there's an influx right now, and this is usually the best time to snag one when there's a lot of people trying to undersell each other. But let me know if you picked one of these up. Are you in on this? Do you have a vintage one, or is this something that you're just going to stay away from because it's just too big and no place to display it? Like and subscribe, and Tidyr Hanger out.
Well, prove far more powerful than we Eternians, and the situation could be dangerous.
Of course, Duncan. There are always great risks.
We will fly to Eternia and attack tonight.